Hi, I'm Mike.
And I'm Brad.
And this is Nfgeeks. Okay, well, Brad, I have to tell you that our first mysticism debate for the Intp was extremely popular.
Yeah, that went very well.
Yep, lots of comments, lots of emails.
Yeah.
So much so that Brad and I have decided to do part two to the mysticism debate because there was so much discussion that I wanted to give Brad another opportunity to talk about his views and other INTPs who got your back, apparently. So, you know, they're right there. So, all right, so Brad even has notes to discuss. So, Brad, I'm going to give you, so go ahead, you can talk about, I won't even comment till the end. So say everything you want to say, whatever way you want to say it, and then
I wanted to
respond.
go the Socratic method.
And, do a dialectic?
Well,
with me or just with yourself?
I was going to say,
yeah, because that's not NT.
We have to kind of define our terms, is my point. What is the mystical experience? Why would you privilege the mystical experience over any other? What differs the mystical experience from any other experience?
Are you directly asking?
Yeah.
Nfgeeks?
Yeah, I'm asking.
Okay, so first of all, you have to understand that the nature of NF is heuristic and metaphorical. And so we have multiple definitions all the time, paradoxically going on. So, so it's hard to get one definition around. But I can speak NT, so I'll try to do. I'll play along with this. I don't know if it needs to be privileged necessarily. I don't know. Maybe I'll get to that or arrive at that. But the mystical experience is an experience of reality that by nature is what I call transrational.
Okay.
Which means it's beyond the rational thought. Okay, it can't be explained directly rationally. It can't even be fully explained emotionally, although you have an emotional response to it, and that's why NFs talk about it in the metaphor, because it's so unbelievably awe-inspiring that you have some kind of reaction, but you don't even know what you're reacting to. Okay, how is this experience taking place? It's something outside of the normal experience. Okay. Now, granted, I'm willing to take on the NT explanation of, well, it's all in your brain and neurons are firing. And
well, that was actually something I was going to say was even though we have a thinking function that's predominant, our feeling function is inward. At least I know INTPs are.
Okay.
Our feeling function is inward. So when we when we experience a mystical it's inward. We're not experiencing it in the external world. Okay. And I don't know if all NTs have this, or some NTs, INTP seems to be geared towards mysticism, a lot of them. And so we don't feel the need to, oh my God, I just saw a ghost and this and that. We have these internal processes, like rewriting, and so, like, they can be even drastic personality changes that are inherently mystical.
Sure, I can buy into that part of it. I don't know, again, Brad, I don't know that you're actually having an actual mystical experience.
But I don't know, you're not having a mystical experience.
I've had slight, tiny experiences. I haven't had major ones. I've had a near-death experience.
Really?
Yeah, yes.
No.
Yes, I have. And I can validate that thing about the light. Why, that's right. I saw the light, but that's all I saw. I didn't see like Jesus. I didn't see Buddha. You know, I didn't see Abraham Lincoln.
The
you know,
Book of the Dead is about. Is the first thing you have to go through is the white light.
Yeah,
the white light is the light is
the
ground of being.
Yes,
you're experiencing being.
Yes, the light is, and it's and I'll tell you, it's almost like a sunlight. It's not like an anesthetic neon light like the lights in this room. You know, very sort of anesthetic, but. It's not like that. All right, but there's a difference between, and you'll have to think about this or respond. There's a difference between having a mystical experience and rationally framing the mystical experience to understand it. I don't think that the attempt at rationally understanding the mystical experience or coming up with an idea system or studying an idea system and trying to wrap something around it, which is useful and necessary, okay, is not the same as actually having the experience. Well, and I don't think you can get there. Just because you can go around it doesn't mean you're having it.
When I I used to study like Wicca, which is just
okay.
it's very new agey and metaphysical and.
Please, do you know how many NFs are into Wicca
love
and
that.
New Age and New Thought?
Love that.
Oh my God, they're crazy about it.
And INFJs too, but I think it's more INFPs.
INFPs love to think about it and employ it, and NFGs love to INFGs love to work in it. Like they want to be shamans and spirit healers and and Reiki people.
Mm-hmm.
They want to be all those things,
mm-hmm.
and they're good at it too. INFJs.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're right. You always run into them in that
I
community.
have a friend who's an INTJ and he's a Reiki.
Really, that's
healer.
unusual.
Yeah, he's got all kinds of different things going on. He might be a P. I don't know.
All right.
He seems more J.
But what were you saying about Wicca? You were making a point.
A lot of them don't look for even though they're practicing some sort of magic, they're not looking for the experience. They think what they're doing is the experience.
Ah.
And
okay.
They're confusing the mystical experience with the process of trying to get it.
Okay, but here's the thing, Brad. That's my criticism of INTP. That's what I think you guys are also trying to do. Not criticism. That makes it sound like you're doing something bad. I don't think you're doing anything bad. I think, so I want to take back that word.
Mm-hmm.
I want to try to reframe. What INTP is good at is trying to take the mystical experience and, again, develop a system around it. Mm-hmm. So, for example, that video you showed me of that young woman,
mm-hmm.
what's her
Existentialist cat.
Yeah, existentialist cat.
Your videos are great, by the way.
Yeah, and pretty sexy INTP, too. Wow, I'll tell you. Very pretty. It's very ENFP for me to say, but still, I was like, whoa, this is a pretty hot android. But yeah, it's true. All right, but but behind the prettiness, there is a incredibly active, rational mind processing mysticism and coming up with thoughts and really, and this is why, again, INTPs are the best philosophers. Brian, I really think so. The best philosophy majors are INTJs, but the best philosophers really contemplating this thing are INTPs, and that shows that from that girl.
Before I get to the university, when I transfer again, I'm going to, the school I'm going to is going to be a philosophy major.
Yeah, absolutely. And you will, and again, hopefully you'll pass things in on time. But even if you don't, Brad, INTPs are greatly philosophical. Every INTP I ever knew had this philosophy thing going on, really questioning. That's what makes it great. And so you're useful for the mystical experience. You question it and then try to, because she does this, and tries to wrap it around something. But that's not the same as having it.
Well, it doesn't mean we're not having it.
I think it does. This is the thing. I think it does. No, I mean, it's just subjective. All right, go ahead. All right.
Go ahead.
Sure. Let me put it this way.
I was just going to look over my notes.
Yeah, and you can go to the next point. But so I want to get this in. All right. So if you know, I've posted on Nfgeeks a poem that I got from INFJ front row seat.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was awesome, by the way.
Yes. Now, so here's my point. If you were actually mystical, you would talk like her. She was speaking NF and speaking the mystical language of NF. And you can tell in the video fluently.
The thing about it is you said that religious doctrine, which a lot of it is directly religious experience, like the Tibetan Book of the Dead, is written by NTs.
Yes, I do believe that.
So
totally.
There's like the Book of Revelations is all one big mystical experience. It's one vision quest.
Yes.
The planes, H.P. Lovecraft was an INTJ or an INTP. I don't really know because I never really read a biography of him.
Right. And all you NTs have a Lovecraft fetish going on.
But he was, like, if there's a mystical NT, it was him. Read, because his writings are all dreams.
Yes. And
some of them are just completely abstract vision quests that are just, like, mind-blowing.
All right. All right, so why don't you...
Are dreams mystical?
They can be. I don't know if they're all mystical, but they can be mystical.
Vivid
but some
dreaming
dreams can
very
be
mystical.
But dreams can be explained too. But the mystical part of it is where is it taking place, that kind of thing. Because you're actually having an experience, but not spatially. Although you're experiencing it spatially. There's rooms, there's lands, there's planets, there's floating continents, whatever. But you're having some sort of spatial experience, but not actually existing in any spatial space.
Hmm.
You know?
But, all right, this was my experience of last night when I was trying to finish my my final trying. And I was like slipping in and out of sleep mode, but as I was slipping in and out of sleep mode, I don't normally have dreams because I don't have regular enough sleep patterns to be able to do that. But when it gets to a certain part of the night, I start having almost like dream like voices running through my head, like somebody's like having a conversation back and forth, and
like a dialectic.
Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes they're very odd, very abstract things. Sometimes they're just words. I've been not like a lot of people have had this experience. Is you'll get knocked out of like falling into sleep in the early stages by hearing like I've heard somebody's name and just shot right up.
Sure.
And I was curious, would you consider that mystical? Because I would consider that like some kind of, I guess, spirits talking in one way or another.
I would, okay, this is the world according to Mike, but I would call it transcendental. Because and again, I'm not necessarily talking about transcendentalism as a movement, as it is in
you're talking about
like Thoreau.
Transcendent experience.
Yes, so I'll give it a transcendence, but mystical, I think, would be unexplainable. You'd be having an experience that is an unexplainable experience, rationally unexplainable experience. That doesn't make any sense.
Well,
that needs to be fit into a system, but is somehow spilling out, not really getting it, that kind of thing.
I'm not really, like, Lovecraft uses a lot of metaphors for things and stuff because he's talking about things that are beyond words, and he does say that these things are beyond words and beyond understanding. When you encounter them, it's the true absurd. You will go insane when you encounter them.
Okay, I would say that's true. Because one of the things that happens with the astronauts is space madness. Did you ever hear about this?
Yeah.
The astronauts, from seeing the world from far away, or of having this incredible experience of the Earth as one system, or even these lunar astronauts, it sort of makes them different. They come back a little altered.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah, not necessarily in a negative way. Sometimes in a negative way.
Astronauts, NTs.
Yeah, for the most part. They might even be SJs.
Could be.
Because you want somebody to follow orders.
Yeah.
In space.
Or SPs. It could be. They're very heroic.
Sure.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any NFs.
It could be. There could be an NF that really wanted to go.
Sure.
Really,
I think they'd
really
be emotionally unbalanced, and NASA would say, no. You can run the simulator.
You can go in the vomit comet.
Yes. Not even that, because we'd be screaming and crying in that. You can go in the fake capsule that doesn't move, that's with the guys behind the glass, and they're running tests, to see how everything's working. That guy. You could be that guy. And pretend. Just pretend to be an astronaut.
The other thing I wanted to bring up was...
Yeah, Brad, let's get to it, because we got about 2 minutes.
There was an INFJ who did comment that he or she did not have a mystical experience. And by the way, we appreciate all your comments. It's been fantastic. I keep track of it. I've
good.
Commented once or twice when I felt the need to.
Okay, so why does that matter to you?
My point is that not every NF has had mystical experiences, and that not every NT has had mystical experiences. But I think SPs, SJs, NTs, NFs are all open to it. Just because our feeling is not our predominant does not mean like androids cry. It happens. It happens.
That's right. The Tin Man cried.
He
cried oil. It happened.
That was actually another point I had was ENFPs are the extroverted introvert. The INTPs are the logical empaths. We have people come to me with their problems, which sounds weird for an NT, somebody to come to an NT with a relationship problem, but we understand the emotional issues they're having, and we're not like INTJs where we just cut them. We have we handle things delicately. That's how we do it. We don't attack things. And have empathy, but it's just not. We don't need empathy all the time, so we don't constantly use it.
Okay. All right. Well, that's Brad, everybody. So chime in with more mysticism. All right. Thanks, Brad.
Thank you.